The reality of it is visibility is not your problem right now for most of you. It's clarity. I've already mentioned that. It's confidence. I've mentioned that as well. And it's conversions, having a systematic way on how to convert people from over here potential to actual patient or client, paid patient or client, right? Welcome back to another episode of the Charyse Williams Show. So we have all heard the saying, it takes money to make money, right? We've all heard that saying. But what if I told you that the things that you are likely spending money on right now could very well put you out of business? Seriously. So if you are a holistic health coach or a functional medicine practitioner who spent thousands already on certifications or branding or systems, and you're still not really seeing consistent income, this episode is going to feel like a truth serum, right? And here's the thing, I'm not here to shame you or to shame your decisions. I don't do shame. That's not what I do. But I am here to kind of shake you and wake you up, because this industry, I believe, has been quietly bleeding smart, talented practitioners dry, like they're bleeding them dry, and no one is telling you the truth until now. So let's dive in. I'm gonna break down the 8 things that you do not need to spend money on in your first 6 to 12, maybe even 18 months as a holistic health coach or functional medicine practitioner, and what to do instead of that. Okay, so what to do instead that actually pays you. Alrighty. So the first thing is, and hear me from my heart on this, you do not need another certification before you launch, before you start your business, before you add on to your business. You do, repeat after me, I do not need another certification. And I get it because I've heard it. And I even kind of felt that way myself initially for a hot second. But typically, what I hear is, well, I just need one more training, and then I'll be ready. The reality of it is this: you're avoiding visibility. You're hiding behind sales, or maybe the inability to the inability to sell. You're hiding in student mode. Okay. And if you have already know how to help people, which you do, and the reason why I know that you do is because you're doing it on a daily basis anyway. So if you already know how to help money, another 5, 10, 15, $30,000 program is not going to fix the real issue, which is likely fear of visibility, putting yourself out there, fear of judgment, all the things, and fear of selling. Okay, so that's number one. The second thing that you absolutely do not need right now is a fancy website. You don't. And I know you're thinking, but if I build it, they will come. Or how will people know? Like, that makes me legitimate. They can find me, they can find my website, y'all. And I hear this all the time. Like, I've launched my business. I'm working on my website, or I'm about to launch my business. I'm working on my website, or I've launched my business. Here's my website. And then I go to the website and I am confused. And if I'm confused, can you only imagine what your ideal client is? And the reason why I say I'm confused is because there's typically not enough clarity that is articulated on that website. It's a bunch of words that sound really, really good, but it's not speaking to a specific person. It's not really speaking to their pain points. It's not really showcasing how it is that you can support them. Like, so your messaging is wrong. There's no clarity around who it is that you're here to support. Your messaging is not nailed down enough to where it's compelling, right? The copy is not compelling. And sometimes you can't even find where either you can't book a call or enroll in a service at all, or it's not intuitive. Like, I have to scroll 6 times until I even get there. Or when I do get to the button, that's the call to action button, there's 3 or 4 different options. You can do this, you can do this, you can do this. And think about this: a confused mind does nothing. A confused mind does nothing. Stop hiding behind your website. The other thing about a fancy website, is that it's static. It's there. I don't want to break your heart. But I've got to say this because no one else is telling me this. And I'd be wrong if I didn't say anything. No one is Googling you. They're not right now, not yet. You're fabulous. You're incredible. But no one is Googling you at this time. Okay. And a fancy website, again, it's not going to fix the problem. It's not going to fix the confused offer. It's not going to fix a price point issue. It's not going to fix. People don't buy based on your font and your brand colors and the fact that you have this static thing here. They buy based on resonance. Can you help them? Do they trust you? You guys, one of the best things you can do is leverage social media. Everyone that's listening to this podcast right now, you have a Facebook or an Instagram or LinkedIn. You are on probably multiple platforms. You might not be actively showing up there, or maybe you are. But let me tell you, one of the best things you can do is really lean into, number one, it's free, but number two, that's where everyone is anyway. Why would you make someone go try to find you elsewhere? They're already connected to you anyway. Now the question becomes, how are you showing up on social media? Because that's where all of your connections are. Remember, I said that people buy resonance. So if your profile is put together in such a way that is compelling, if what the content that you're posting, if you're speaking to your ideal client, first of all, if you know who your ideal client is, one. Two, if you're speaking to your ideal client in their language, not in your language, but in their language that resonates with them. If you're speaking to their issues, their pain points, their desires, right? And if you're marrying in how it is that you can help them, right? And you're showing up confidently, you're showing up professionally, of course. I've not seen anyone not show up professionally, but you're showing up confidently. That's a whole nother story. And you've got these pieces in place and you have an offer, because I have seen people showing up online, right? But they don't really have an offer in place just yet. So there's really no call to action. You're kind of just showing up and you're saying, hey, this is what I do. But you're not saying this is how I can help you. Click this button or reach out or send me a DM or whatever. Here's the website. Nothing. Like there's nothing there, right? So you don't want to stop short there, and I've seen that happen a lot. But bottom line is you don't need a fancy website. And if you're spending money, if you spent money on someone to create the website, and then you're hosted it someplace, and then you maybe have spent money on copy, you maybe have spent money on professional pictures, which I love a good photo shoot. Even better, an AI photo shoot, the right kind. I'll actually link that down below. But you see all these you don't even have a client yet. You don't have a patient yet. And you're probably already out of hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on this beautiful website that no one even knows exists. Remember, you've got to drive people there to that website. Okay, just how about this? Let's make this an easy lift. Let's make it a very easy lift and go where your people already are anyway. You're already connected to many of them on social media. And I would dare to say most of you, you don't have to have a huge social media following, by the way. But most of you, I don't have a huge social media following. It's not about, so this is an instance where size does not matter. I know that doesn't apply to every situation, but in this situation, size does not matter. What does matter is connection and resonance. Connection and resonance. I would venture to say that most of you are literally sitting on at least your first $100,000 in business right now through the connections that you already have on social media. I would almost bet money on it. I would bet money on it, to be quite honest, right? So third thing, low ticket funnels that don't convert. This breaks my heart. Every time I hear a nurse or a nurse practitioner say, I'm going to create this little $45 or $47, $27, $17 or $7, ebook or whatever the case may be. And I'm going to start there so I can start building trust. And you guys, I will say, that's a very outdated way of thinking. It's a very outdated business model to kind of start at 7 and then like a 17 and then a 97 and then a 297 and then a 497 and a 697. You work their way up to your actual thing. Most people don't stick around long enough. Okay. And the thing that no one ever tells you, the people that are selling courses and telling you how to sell a course, what they don't tell you is you're spending $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 just in tech alone, in ad services and tech alone, just to get someone to purchase this $47 or $17 thing. And if you don't really have a system after that, oh boy, again, you're wasting money. Don't start there. And if you're there, reach out to me. There's a better way. There's a better way. There's an easier way, right? And let me just tell you, because this is the piece that no one mentions, is you've got to drive traffic to that offer. So whether it's a $7 or a $17 or a $47, whatever it is, doesn't matter. You've got to drive traffic there. What does that entail? One, unless you were just super bad at Facebook ads, which most of you probably aren't, right? That means you have to hire an ads team. That's going to cost you anywhere, if they're a good ads team, $2,000, $2,500 is what I pay my ads team a month. Plus, you got to add in the ad spend, right? That goes to Facebook, right? So now you're already in for $2,500, $3,500, $4,000, $5,000 even to drive traffic to a $47 offer, a $47 product being your ebook. It just, if this, you've probably heard the saying, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. That just don't make sense. It just don't. It just doesn't really. Okay. The fourth thing is launching a podcast without already having like a profitable offer first or a proven offer first. Podcasts are great. They're great for building authority, because I know that's what you're thinking. I need to create a podcast so that I can create a following and I can build authority and all of that. Remember, you already have the following on other platforms, by the way. Podcasting for 99.9% of you, where you are in the game, where you are in the lifespan of your business, a podcast is not the right move right now. And so if you're spending money on someone, even if you're doing it yourself, number one, that's time, and time is money, right? So, or if you're outsourcing it, you have a podcast team. I have a podcast team that does mine, but guess what? I'm 7 years into this, right? And I started my podcast probably 2 years ago. So I was 5 years into, and I had a multi-six-figure business already, a multi-six-figure business before I even thought about launching a podcast. Okay. The reality of it is that a podcast does not pay the bills. It doesn't pay the bills unless you're monetizing it from day one, which most people are not. Most people aren't even monetizing their podcast at all. Okay. But bottom line is, it's not where you want to. If you're spending money on a podcast right now, that's not what you want to be doing. It just isn't. There's so many other ways to build authority. You can build authority on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn for free. Okay. Now, again, things that are a complete waste of money. Number 5 is, and this one breaks my heart because I see it so much. Monthly subscriptions that you don't use. Or how about this? Monthly subscriptions. I'm just going to leave it at monthly subscriptions. I want you to think Kajabi, Practice Better, Go High Level, Canva Pro. All those are fabulous. In fact, I actually have all of them. I have them now. But the reality of it is, some of those, of course, are definitely more expensive. The Go High Level, the Kajabi, absolutely. Practice Better, there's a free version, by the way. Canva, there's a free version, by the way, right? And I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, it's only $29. It's only $40. It's only $50. But guess what? When you look at all of those $25 and $35 and $45 little things, you look up, that's easily $300 to $500. In fact, I remember one year, this was several years ago, it was December. I went through everything on my spreadsheet, all of my expenses on my spreadsheet. And I had so many 5 and 10. I had $5, things for $5, even $5, $10, all the way up to $50. You guys, when I went through and I looked at, okay, what do I not need to be spending money on right now? What have I not even logged into? Like, I bought it or enrolled in it thinking, oh, this will be a good resource. But with the reality of, I hadn't even logged into it in a year or 2 years for some of them, or never for some of them. Like, I bought it because it was a good price and I just hung on to it. And so again, this was several Decembers ago. I went through, you guys, I recouped $600. $600 and little $5 of this, $25 a month of this, $45 and $49 of this, $600 I was able to reabsorb back into my business, to redistribute in a much smarter way. And here's the thing: a lot of the tech that I just mentioned, there's free versions of it. If you don't have any patients or clients yet, you do not need let me tell you, you don't need to go high level or Kajabi until you could get past even your 10 clients before you even need any of those systems. I love them. I have them all now. I've been using them for quite some time. But if you're spending money on them and you either have no patients or clients, or you have even less than 10, you're wasting money. You're wasting money. Stop it. It all adds up. Don't do it. Okay. Look for the free. And listen, I don't have a problem investing in my business. I am a huge proponent of investing in my business, so that way my business can run and do the things it needs to do, and make my life easier. But it's got to be smart, right? They're all powerful tools when they're paired with profit. You can write that down. They're all powerful tools when they're paired with profit. If you don't have any profit, what are you doing? You're literally just building this business. You're accruing so much overhead, with no income or minimal income to really justify or support the cost of those things. So I can tell you, people come to me at different stages of their business, right? So some people come to me, they haven't quite launched their business yet, or they just launched their business, or sometimes they've been in business for some time and maybe they're adding on another service. Maybe they had a traditional, let's say, nurse practitioners sometimes come to me, they're running a traditional clinic, and now they're finding that they're getting burned out and they're not really working in their zone of genius, and they're really wanting to create more of a boutique type of business and really increase their profitability, increase their income but decreasing their burnout, and really, like I said, getting into their zone of genius and creating a life, having a life, right? So I have people that come to me in different phases of their business, and one of the first things that we do is we do an audit. We do an audit, particularly if you're seasoned in business. We do an audit and we clean up all of this, because I can't tell you how many times I've helped people or nurse practitioners specifically, recoup several hundred to several thousands of dollars in just extra overhead and expenses for, well, I thought I needed this, or I might need this later. Guess what? Some things you can defer to later. Probably most things you can defer to later. Okay. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart when I see a new business or even a seasoned business owner that has thousands of dollars in overhead and expenses, and their income is nowhere near where it needs to be to justify. I have had clients that have had zero patients and patients or clients, but they've been paying a little shy of $10,000 every single month after month after month after month, with zero clients. So here's the thing, and I'll just kind of pause here for just a second. If you're spending even a couple of $1,000s month after month after month, and you don't have any patients or clients to show for it, that's got to be an indicator to you there's something broken in the system. You can't buy your way into a business. You can't. At the end of the day, you've got to have a clear offer. It has to be priced, packaged, and positioned appropriately, right? And you have to understand how to attract clients and then how to move them through a process so that you are creating predictable income, right? You are converting them predictably in a very systematic way. Okay. The sixth thing, hiring VA or support too early. Too early is the key word here. And I get it, because you're like, I need help to grow. I can't do it all. I need help to grow. But here's what I have found from working with, at this point, thousands of nurses and nurse practitioners primarily, but also physicians and chiropractors, doctors of Chinese medicine. What ends up happening is, because you're too early in the process with this delegation, what you end up doing is delegating disorganization. You're delegating disorganization, right? So if you don't have any systems, if you don't have any SOPs, if you don't have a process, your VA can't save you. They can't save you, and they really can't help you. They just duplicate more chaos. And so you're paying them to duplicate chaos, right? So for 99.9% of you guys that are listening, you don't need a VA. You need clarity. You need SOPs. You need systems in place. You need processes in place, and you need an actual offer that sales that people say yes to. Otherwise, again, you're just paying someone to help you avoid doing the real work. And the real work is attracting clients to you, right? Or attracting clients or patients to you, speaking to them in their own language, right? So knowing who you're speaking to. So identifying your niche, right? Speaking to them in their language, speaking to their pain points, speaking to their desires, wrapping in how you can help support them. And then moving them into a conversation, whether that's a DM or whether it's phone, a consult, or whatever the case may be. And then knowing how to have an effective enrollment conversation to move them from potential patient or potential client to paid client or paid patient. That's the work. That is the work. If you don't listen, you can get rid of all tech. And if I'm being brutally honest, really the only tech that you need a Zoom, okay? Because if you're seeing patients virtually, right? So you need Zoom or some type of platform where you can see them. And you need, let's say, an EMR. You can do practice better. And like at one point in time, you could have, I think, up to 3 or maybe even 5 patients or clients into practice better, and it was free. I don't know what it is right now. You could check, but you see, I said free, and Zoom is $15 for the not the basic version, but the first tier up. 15, I think it's 15 or $14.99 or $15.99. Just call it $15. Really, at the end of the day, that's all you need. That's all you need. $15. Okay. All the rest of the other stuff can come as you start to build your business and enroll patients or clients predictably. Okay. Notice I said predictably, consistently. I am for real about that. All right. Number seven, spending money on ads or spending money on leads without even having a converting offer, without having an offer that converts organically. Now, hear me on this. I love ads. I run ads. I have the most amazing ads team. They are phenomenal. Ads are fantastic. For 99.9% of you guys, you do not need ad. You don't need to run ads now, either yourself or for other, or hire it out. You don't need it right now. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, but I just need more people to see me. What about the people who are already seeing you? Remember I said, just kind of rewind a few minutes ago when I said most of you are sitting on $100,000 with the people that you already are connected to on Facebook, on social, on Instagram. Okay. All of us could use more people to see us. Yes, absolutely. Even yes. However, what are you doing with the people who already see you? What are you doing with the people who are already connected to you? Your ideal client is you're already connected to plenty of your ideal clients right now. The reality of it is visibility is not your problem right now for most of you. It's clarity. I've already mentioned that. It's confidence. I've mentioned that as well. And it's conversions, having a systematic way on how to convert people from over here potential to actual patient or client, paid patient or client, right? And if you don't have a process in place that's working organically, the last thing you want to do is run ads, because really what it's going to do is it's going to expose those gaps even faster. The easiest way I can describe this is this: if you're going to have a cookout, let's say you're going to put some hamburgers on the grill outside. If you put charcoal and even wood in there and then you pour lighter fluid on it, guess what? You've got a whole bunch of wet coal and wet wood. Okay. But if you go out there and you put the coal, the fire in there, not the fire, but the wood in there, and maybe the coal, charcoal, or whatever the case may be, and you light it, and even if you have a little bit of fire going, but you gotta have a fire, right? Even if you have a little bit of a fire going, if you then pour lighter fluid on it, what does it do? It's an accelerator, right? It's an accelerator. It's going to accelerate that fire. It's going to make that little bitty fire a bigger fire. But if you didn't have a fire to begin with and you just pour lighter fluid, it ain't gonna do that. There's nothing to accelerate. And so what I have seen is that people are like, I'm just gonna start running ads. That's gonna solve the problem. No, it's not. Now you're gonna really be pissed because you're spending money, and not a little bit of money, because we are talking about the cost of ads, like someone who's going to run your ads and then the ad spend on top of that. Even if you did know what you were doing, let's say you are proficient at running ads, okay, you still gotta put ad spend behind it. 500,000, 1,500, 2,000 to even make it worth your while to get enough volume in. But here's the thing: you're bringing all these people in and you still don't know how to convert them. One, either because you don't have clarity around what you're offering, or your messaging is totally off, or you don't know how to move them from potential to actual. That's a problem. And all ads are going to do is expose that gap and expose that problem. And then again, you're going to be pissed because you're like, but I'm spending all this money, I'm paying this. It doesn't fix the problem. You're starting at the wrong. It's like you're putting the cart before the horse. Okay. So there's that. All right. Eighth thing, and we'll wrap, is investing in advanced functional medicine testing, again, without having a consistent client flow. And I get it, because you're saying, well, I need to know all the fancy schmancy tests, like the Dutch test and the GI map and all those things, so I can charge more, so I can feel confident knowing, doing what I know to do. And the reality of this is you're wanting to earn your way into value instead of embracing and claiming what you already know. You know a lot. You listen. How long have you been a nurse? How long have you been a nurse practitioner? How long have you been what you are? A long time. You know a lot. If I were to come to you right now and say, hey, I got high blood pressure, can you help me? Yes. Every one of you that's listening, you can help me. And not by writing me a prescription. You know how to help me in other ways. right? So let's lean into what we do actually know. You can always build upon that. You guys, I'm a huge proponent of education. You see my book spot. I mean, that's only one of 3 bookshelves. I am an avid reader. I am always learning. I am always expanding my knowledge. I'm a lifelong learner. You probably are too. But do you need, but let's not hide behind, I need yet another course. I need to get some more function. I need to learn all the fancy schmancy tests. If anything, I'm a huge proponent of functional lab work, like understanding how to read a basic blood CBC, CBC with DIF, and CMP, right, from a functional medicine lens. That's what we teach in the process practitioner program, right? But let's not hide behind it, you guys. If you're not enrolling clients or patients consistently, you're literally just stockpiling knowledge and stockpiling information without the income. And it's time out for that. It's time out for that. This is 2026. We're doing a new thing. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Well, we're not doing that. This is 2026. Okay. And I'm going to give you a bonus. I'm going to give you a bonus one because this one really hurts my heart too when I see it. This is if you're a nurse practitioner. Okay. This is only if you're a nurse practitioner. If you are paying for a collaborative physician in multiple states, stop it. Can you stop it? Just stop it. Stop it. And I get it. Because you're thinking, well, I want to make sure that I want to have multi-state, I want to have physicians in multiple states because in case I get a patient there or in case I get a client there, I want to be ready. But if you don't, how about this? Let's just start with where you are currently licensed or where you currently have either you currently have a collaborative physician or you don't need one at all. Start there. Let's get patients there. Let's get more than 1, more than 2, more than 3. Let's get this ball rolling and then look at expanding beyond that. Otherwise, you are spending thousands of dollars, you guys, and I'm not making this up. I have a client right now who's licensed in a couple of dozen states, and she's paying a handful, no exaggeration, of collaborative physicians. And ask me how many, and this is before she came to work with me. Ask me how many clients or patients she's had. Zero. Y'all, that's a lot. That's a lot of money just going out the door, just in case. There's no need to have the just in case. Let's work smarter, not harder. Let's focus on what makes sense right now. Okay. So that was a little bonus if you're a nurse practitioner. All right. So here's the thing. None of the things that I mentioned are bad. They're not bad. They're just not in order. They're out of order, you guys. And when you build out of order and when you build out of alignment, you end up wasting precious time. You end up wasting precious money. You end up, and it rocks your confidence. It rocks your confidence because then you have this false sense of, well, I'm doing everything. I have all these systems in place. Why am I not successful? It must be me. It's not you. You are brilliant. You know this. You are brilliant, but because you're spending money on all these other places that really don't move. Not really. They don't move the line in terms of they don't generate income. None of those are income generating. None of the things that I mentioned are income generating. And so that's why I say it rocks your confidence because you're like, but I'm doing all the things. Those are ancillary things. Okay. There's a place for each and every one of those things. There's a place for each and one of those things. Okay. But most people are doing those out of order. Okay. Most of you doing them out of order. So here's the thing. If you are ready, if you were listening, you're like, oh shit, she literally just out of the 8 things she said, like 6 of them or 5 of them or 4 of them, way too many of them I'm currently doing, or I've currently done them. And now my confidence is rocked, or I have been wondering, like, where's the money? How come I'm not making any money? It's because they're out of place and you're not prioritizing what actually moves the needle. Okay. So if you're ready to kind of push pause on all of that, cut through the noise, and actually start making decisions that lead to clarity, which leads to clients, which leads to consistent income, then what I would recommend and encourage you to do, or invite you to do rather, is schedule a power hour. Schedule a power hour with me. This is where we spend it out. We clean all this up literally in an hour. It doesn't take that long. Which most people are like, oh my God, I cannot believe. Yes, we literally clear all of that up. We map out what you need to be focusing on right now, right here, right now. Okay. So that you can start literally enrolling patients or clients confidently, like immediately. Okay. Or maybe you're just thinking, I need to be in a supportive space. I need to be in a supportive community where I can learn how to sell and how to serve and how to scale with alignment, then I would invite you to join us inside the Quantum Leap Collective. So either way, I'm going to link the two links down below: Power Hour, and I'm also going to link the Quantum Leap Collective. You guys, just again, we're not gonna do 2026 the way we've been doing 2025 if it has not been working. Okay, you don't need more credentials. Okay, you need more clarity. All right. Let's build your business from congruence, from a place of congruence, and no longer from a place of chaos. All right. So, that being said, I love you guys. I love you. I appreciate you. And I will see you on the next episode of the Charyse Williams Show. Bye for now.